Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we are going to be taking a look at Wave 1 of the new WWE Superstars line from Mattel. So this is the new line of WWE action figures that are done in a retro figure style, akin to a lot of the 5.5 action figures like the Remcos. Remco did an AWA line back in the 80s. Of course, these also relate to Masters of the Universe, in the way that Mattel's been doing the Masters of the WWE Universe line for a couple years now, and that line is now over, and this is that line's successor. So it's really interesting for Masters of the Universe fans because the bodies here are still utilizing the Masters of the Universe Origins base bodies. So they're the same scale, they're the same articulation, they should be the same mix and match compatibility, but now we've ditched the Masters of the Universe kind of nods, and we've gone full on WWE wrestlers, and it's from all the different generations. So Wave 1 gives us the Honky Tonk Man, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, woo, and Bray Wyatt. And you can see the packaging that these come on is very vintage inspired, like a lot of the Remco figures, like the Masters of the Universe figures, where they're the tall, narrow blister cards. But we do have some brand new art on there, which I absolutely love. And as you can see, they actually fit together. You almost make a scene there where you can see kind of the artwork is bleeding over on the different card backs there. So it's pretty unique. If you actually want to keep these carded and hang them up, that actually might look pretty cool. But I think the card backs are really great. They have a very 80s feel to them, and I do love the artwork on there. Now, when you flip around to the backside, there's a lot less interesting stuff going on there. It's actually the same artwork, just in black and white. And then it shows you a cross-sell of all four figures in the wave, utilizing actual photos of the wrestlers. So let's go ahead and rip these guys off the packaging, as cool as it is, because I want to get a closer look at the figures. All right, so we've got our brand new WWE Superstars outside of the packaging. If I bring in the tape measure, you can see that they are just shy of a full 6 inches in height. So they're sort of in that 5.5-inch scale of the vintage Remcos, the vintage Masters of the Universe figures. Like I said, using the Origins bodies, so they're going to fit right in with that. And as you can see, one of the big perks I feel that this line has is the sheer amount of accessories that each one of these figures comes with. In fact, it's pretty impressive to see just how much each one of these figures includes. We got Honky Tonk over here with his full jumpsuit, his guitar. We've got Ric Flair with his robe, sunglasses, a microphone, interchangeable hands. Hogan with a tearaway shirt, sunglasses, a bandana, the NWO spray-painted belt, his weightlifting belt around his waist, and interchangeable hands. And then Bray Wyatt wearing an interesting Mad Hatter outfit for some reason, and some interchangeable hands. So we're going to take a look at these figures one by one so we can get a good look at them. Let's go ahead and start things off with the Nature Boy, styling and profiling here. You can see I've got him wearing those sunglasses, so I do want to pop those off real quick. And I want to show you guys that it's really nice because there's little slots like underneath the sculpt of his hair that those sunglasses fit into, so that these little sunglasses fit on his face perfectly, but also it doesn't look like there's big gaping holes. Like the hair looks pretty natural. I do like how they're sort of like a translucent pinkish purplish in color too. So pretty cool stuff. So of course, removing those sunglasses, we get that great Ric Flair head sculpt with the long flowing hair like we saw him in the 80s there. And we've got this really great fabric Ric Flair robe. Now, of course, the robe is removable. There's actually just a tie on the front, so we can untie that the robe, and we can pull it right off the figure. And now we've got Ric Flair down to his basic wrestling attire, complete with the cursive RF right there on the front of the trunks, signature of his gear, of course, from this time period. We got the red knee pads, the red boots, again with an RF on the side of the boots, but really cool stuff. And of course, if you are familiar with these body types, you pretty much know what you're getting with your articulation here. With the ball joint at the head, the arms can go outwards, forwards, backwards. You've got a swivel at the elbow, you've got a bend at the elbow, you've got a swivel at the wrist, a hinge at the wrist, The waist turns left and right, and then the legs can go outwards, forwards, backwards with a bend at the knee pads, of course, covering that joint, swivel at the boot cut, and then the ankles can move forwards and backwards as well as rock side to side. And the other perk of these sharing the Masters of the Universe Origins bodies is that there are several interchangeable pieces. You can pop the heads off the ball joints, you can pop the arms out of the socket there at the shoulder, you can pop the hands out at the wrists, you can pop the torso off the waist, there's a nice peg there, and then you can also remove the boots. So this opens up the possibilities for customizers who want to do some mixing and matching so that you can create your own looks for the characters, which is definitely cool. Now, I showed you he also does come with a WWE microphone there as another added accessory. So that is really cool. It's a great figure. And he's got all kinds of interchangeable hands. So you can see right there, we've got the 2 gripping hands. We can also replace that with 2 punching hands. We got closed fists. So that's really great. But we also have 2 open hands, which of course is perfect for Ric Flair so that he can deliver his knife edge chops. Yeah. Woo! Pretty cool stuff. So 2 open hands, 2 gripping hands, and 2 punching hands, which is pretty freaking awesome. Now, I want to do a quick comparison time here. This is the perfect figure for me to do that with, just to stand them alongside one of those vintage Remco action figures, since I've got my vintage Ric Flair here. Of course, that one is wearing the purple trunks, but you can see that classic RF there as well. So pretty cool stuff. You can see scale is similar. Obviously, the sculpt of the body and everything is a bit updated, so it's a bit modernized, but these will definitely fit right in with your vintage collection if you want to do that. I think that looks really, really cool. Also, hey, let's just do this. Why not? Let's put the new robe on our vintage figure. Obviously, it doesn't match his attire since that one's wearing the purple. But, hey, look, if you want to put a robe on your vintage Remco figure, that's totally something you could do. Pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the NWO version of Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan brother. Again, this is another one where there are a lot of really great accessories. So first of all, you can see I've got him holding on to that WCW Heavyweight Championship with the NWO spray paint on there. This is really nice looking. There is quite a bit of paint deco with the red gems painted on. It's not like vac metal or anything, but it's still a nice color gold. And you can, of course, put this around a figure's waist. Now, one thing that's worth noting is that Hogan does have his weightlifting belt attached to his waist. It says Hollywood on the back, so we can remove that as well. That'll actually help if we want to put the strap around his waist there. There we go. So we can have Hogan rocking the belt around his waist if you want to, throw it over the shoulder. But I love that we get both of these belts included because they make perfect sense for this particular iteration of Hogan. But man, that is not all. So much going on with this figure because he does also have the removable bandana, which just sits right there on his head. He's got the removable glasses, which much like Ric Flair, there are little notches in his hair so that the glasses slide into those notches there so that the glasses stay on his head, which I think is a really, really nice touch. And then, of course, it's Hogan, so you also have the tearaway shirt. So he can tear his shirt off, which is cool. And of course, once you remove all of that, you've got him into his wrestling attire there. You can see we got the lightning bolts coming down the side. Look at that. We even have all of this great detail on the boots with Hogan's face on the side, NWO, the blue flames. It says Hollywood on the back. And of course, we've got that nice hot dog orange tan going on with his skin. I mean, like, look at him next to Flair. You can see the difference in the skin tone. One of the other comparisons I want to do real quick is I want to bring in the red and yellow Hogan that was in the Masters of the WWE line, just because I want to show you how much better the head sculpt is on this new WWE Superstars figure. I mean, come on, that is night and day. It looks so much better, so much more like Hogan. In fact, let's remove the He-Man style armor from this Hogan, and we're going to do a head swap. Now, the problem is that the skin tones are totally different because the red and yellow one is not as tan as he should be. But I still want to take the head off the NWO one, and I want to put it on the red and yellow body. So there you go. Obviously, we've got the darkened beard, and it is a bit of like, it's the NWO era, so he's a bit older. But man, I just can't believe how much better that head sculpt looks than what we got in the Masters of the WWE line. It's totally crazy. So Hogan's another one that came with some interchangeable hands. Of course, right out of the package, he's got just 2 gripping hands, so you can also replace that with his gloved closed fists. I also love the way the gloves are on this. You can see he's got the white wrist tape just painted on the arm, but I love the way the gloves kind of come outwards a little bit. It's a very, very nice touch. So that way you can get him with some closed fists for some punching as well. But all in all, another excellent figure in this lineup, just because of the sheer amount of accessories alone really makes this guy worth it. So that's going to bring us over here to Bray Wyatt. This one is really interesting because I don't know if I'm just missing this. I don't know why he's got this Mad Hatter outfit on. It's not like it's one of his normal entrance attires or one of his more iconic looks or anything like that. It still looks cool. And of course, all of this is removable. You can remove the top hat. It's kind of a softer plastic, but it can pop right off his head. So we've got the nice smiling Bray head there. And then you can also remove his jacket, which is a nice cloth material that just comes off. And then you've got this like tie thing, which has got elastic. So you can either pull that off over the head, of course, around the hair, or you could pop the head off as well. And now we've kind of got him down to some wrestling attire. I really kind of wish that instead of this Mad Hatter outfit that he's got for some reason, that it would have come with like a red sweater that you could put on over the figure, because that would have just been way cooler, right? That would have made a lot more sense for this particular version of Bray Wyatt. But otherwise, now we've got him down to sort of some wrestling gear here. He does come with interchangeable hands, so you can see he's got the gripping hands that do say hurt and heal on the fingers. We can remove those with closed fists, which do not have the gloves on, so they are just bare fists. Or we can put on those open hands, which are also very cool and kind of, for some cool posing, so you can actually read the text on his hands there. So I do like those quite a bit as well. And again, great details with like the tattoo art that's all down the arms. You can see the studs kind of painted on the boots there. And one thing I definitely want to do with this is, since we did get a Fiend figure in the Masters of the WWE Universe line, but he was a bit Motuified, I want to show you guys that if you want, we can just pop off this Bray Wyatt head, we can take the Fiend head off the Motu body, and we could pop it on here for a bit of a better Fiend look. We could even, if you wanted, we could swap out the legs, right? And that way you can put them in this gear here, and we've got like the red pants and everything. So if you've got the Fiend from the Masters of the WWE line, there's actually some really cool mixing and matching you can do to get more of a proper Fiend figure as a straight up wrestling figure. So pretty fun stuff here with Bray. And finally, that's going to bring us on over to the Honky Tonk Man. He's cool, he's cocky, he's bad. Of course, with him, the thing that's really the standout is the fact that he's got this amazing, iconic jumpsuit on. And since it's a full fabric piece, of course, it's got Velcro, it's removable to get him down to his wrestling attire as well. But I know this is like a very iconic look for the character, so this is probably how you want to display him. Now, he does come with his iconic guitar also, which you definitely need. You might notice I've got one of the clear bands wrapped around there. We're going to get to that in just a second. First, let's go ahead and just get this guy stripped down to his wrestling gear. So you can see he's got like a nice little red ascot, which is just a piece of fabric that kind of just wraps around his neck underneath the jumpsuit. So you can pull that off. And then we can pull this down over the arms. If you need to remove any of the parts to make it easier, you can, but it is kind of baggy enough that it really isn't a problem to get it off the figure. And that's one thing I kind of like about it. Like sometimes with the cloth stuff, they do look so baggy and everything that I think they end up looking bad. But with these, I don't know, man, there's something so charming about them. I think it actually looks pretty cool. And now we've got them down to those baby blue long tights with the guitars and the music notes. Unfortunately, I do have a little bit of pink paint splatter on the boots here. I don't know if that kind of rubbed off as a printing thing from the fabric. That very well might be the case, but that does seem to be kind of permanently on the white of his boots there. But otherwise, I love the deco. Look, it says Memphis on the back of his tights. Incredible. And again, really, really great likeness and the head sculpt, which is really cool stuff. So back to the guitar. The reason I've got the rubber band on there is, as you've probably guessed, it does have the breakaway feature to it, which is very cool. The problem with the breakaway feature is that this is a bit too fragile. It comes into several pieces, and the rubber band definitely helps to kind of hold it all together. But let me slip this rubber band off real quick. Let's see if I can actually get it in his hand with that. Oh, see, it's like falling apart already. So it's really hard to do because I actually want to get some bashing going on here. Let me see if I can pull this off. See, unfortunately, this thing just doesn't hold together well. And it reminds me of like some of those old like puzzle ball things or something where like you have to have all the pieces just in the right place that kind of holds it all together. And then the pressure of it kind of like, being pieced together is what's supposed to hold it. But it so easily just falls apart just like that. So it's a bit of a bummer. All right, I want to get somebody smashed over the head with this, so I'm just going to do it for you, okay, Honky? Ah! It's so flimsy, it just kind of falls apart, but still fun. Okay, so let me show you how we can piece this back together now that we've broken it over Hogan's head. So the neck kind of just plugs into the top. The front of the guitar is a solid piece, and you kind of have to set it there. So this is where you really have to use your fingers to like kind of hold it all together while you're repositioning everything. And then you take the two back pieces, and they kind of slightly fit together. And as you can see, once everything is where it's supposed to be, it's supposed to just kind of like hold the whole thing together with its own pressure, but it really doesn't do a very good job. It's just so flimsy. There we go. It's so flimsy, it falls apart really easily. So I really would recommend hanging on to one of these little clear rubber bands that comes with the figure. That will help hold this whole thing together while you're displaying it on your shelf. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at WWE Superstars Wave 1 from Mattel. All in all, I really like these, and I think this is a great progression for this lineup, kind of getting away from the Masters of the Universe stuff. Obviously, this 5.5-inch form factor is one of my favorites, and I think this is some of my favorite wrestling figures out there right now. I really like these. They have a very cool vintage feel to them. They're fun. They've got all these accessories, so definitely thumbs up from me. The biggest problem with these seems to be the distribution. Unfortunately, this entire line is exclusive to Walmart stores, and we know how hard it is to find things when they're exclusive to Walmart. Distribution's been real weird on these. Like, for some reason, Ric Flair is coming in solid cases by himself, so he seems to be the easiest one to find. Everybody's seeing lots of him on the shelf, while the others seem to be few and far between. It's why it took me so long to get this video done, because these have been out for a couple months, but I've finally just now tracked every one of them down by taking several trips to Walmart over the last couple months. So patience will pay off, hopefully, and everybody will be able to find these, and fingers crossed we'll be able to get these easier going forward, but you never know with Walmart. Regardless, these are very fun figures. I really love this line, and I'm looking forward to getting more of these in the collection. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and until next time.